And the crowd goes wild. Okay, I think, just we didn't play our best basketball in the second half. I thought we did some good things in the first half, but our attention to detail, our teamwork, our execution of the scouting report left a lot to be desired in the second half. And, this is about competing with yourself as much as it's about competing against the other team. And we didn't take care of the things that are under our control. And that's what I'm excited to do with the opportunity we're going to be given on Thursday in a hostile environment, that we're going to have to take care of our attitude, our effort, our concentration. That's going to have to be something that's under our control, and we didn't do that in the second half, and so I'm looking forward to another opportunity to take care of that.
Coach, I think you had 9 blocks on Friday, 10 today. You haven't had that many blocks in, I think, 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
How nice is that to kind of add that kind of scrappiness on defense?
Well, I'm okay with it, other than sometimes it leads the next time for you getting greedy and leaving your feet, and then they're stepping past and creating an easy layup, which is what we saw in a lot of one-on-one battles that we had. And, I love blocks when they're under control, when they're on balance. I love blocks that stay in bounds. Actually, next to a live ball turnover, it's the biggest indicator of efficient offense on the other side, is when you can block a shot and keep it in bounds. So I like it. I love our size differential is so much bigger. I think it's a little bit deceptive, but I'd rather just make sure we force one hard shot and not give up so many layups and offensive rebounds the way we did today.
And Angela, you had the 3-pointer at the end as kind of like the USC game a couple weeks ago, where your teammates at the bench, everyone was getting kind of happy seeing you hitting a 3 and pulling away. How nice is that in that moment when everyone's just kind of behind you and when you do that kind of thing there?
It's really nice to know that my team always has my back through ups and downs, and that was one of the ups. And I'm not a big 3-point shooter, so they know when I make one, it's a big deal for me more than them. But it's just nice to know that they have my back always, and they're happy for my success.
And I will say, I do think Angela's going to grow into being a very dependable 3-point shooter. I don't think she's had quite enough game reps to earn that quite yet. I pretty much demand that she's pretty wide open, but I thought that was a great shot that she shot. But even though I'm maybe giving her some limitations and boundaries right now, I do really believe she's going to grow into being a really good 3-point shooter, for us on the long term.
Hi, Coach. I was wondering, in what area do you think that your team has made the most strides in the past 3 weeks?
Well, I think outside of the second half tonight, I think our ability to execute the scouting report, and that's something we struggled with all year long. Like, what does it look like for us to be our best and to play up to our strengths this game? And our staff puts in an incredible amount of time in preparation, and I think that's where we really have grown. Starting at Arizona, it's about as locked in and as many game adjustments as we were able to make as a staff all year long. And I think that's continued for the most part. I think that so I would say that probably the togetherness, the teamwork side of the ball, playing more connected and executing a scouting report.
Awesome. And for other players or coach, for the practices you guys have been able to have as a team and with more players, where do you see the chemistry of your team now versus later in the regular season, early in the Pac-12 tournament?
I think we're growing still. I think there's some real strengths about having a deeper bench, and because number one, I think it's a great point of accountability. I can say, if you want to play, these are the things that you need to be able to do. The bad news is sometimes it creates a little bit of a revolving door if we're not playing with more discipline. But I think that the other part is trying to get into a flow. Just trying to go, okay, in this lineup we're really good at this, and defensively and offensively. I think that probably, I would say, we're still a work in progress. There's a chance that's Riz's best shot right there, or that she doesn't need my help here on defensive rotations. All those things that just reps of chemistry that you earn and develop. I would say that we're not quite there yet. But I think every time you have a chance to get reps, either in practice or in games, that's why I think this is so valuable, this whole tournament, is that especially someone like Angela, who's had very few opportunities this year, it gives us not only game time, but practice time to continue to pour into her so that not only she's better this year, but also for the years to come.
Is that it all?
Okay.
Charisma, coaches talked a lot about you kind of having to play out of position at point this year, but there was a long stretch there in the first half where Angela and Amari were taking the ball up the court. How nice is that, being able to kind of play a little bit more off the ball and see the two bigs to take a little bit more command of the offense?
Really nice. I was actually really looking forward to that for the game. But yeah, it's super nice, and I'm glad we have people who can be so versatile and bring the ball up the court, I think. And you did a great job. She's always wanted to be the point guard, so she had her shine tonight.
And then, Coach, they were showing the Wyoming Tulsa game during timeouts and everything, triple overtime, crazy game. How much are you looking forward to this next game, and kind of how high quality basketball this WNIT tournament can have?
Well, it just gets better and better every round, right? I think this was sort of like the warm-up, these first two rounds, a little bit that way. And, Wyoming's a postseason team every year. We obviously played them in the first round of the NCAA tournament in Texas last year. So with a lot of respect, they're very well coached. I would suspect they'll have a sold-out crowd there in Laramie. There are a lot of obstacles. There's, altitude. There's a long day of travel. There's going to be a great crowd. I'm like, great, bring it on, because we're going to have to be tougher. It's going to force us, just like at Arizona, 10,000 people. Come on, I just think if you, as a competitor, don't love to lean into that pressure, then we got bigger problems. And so it's going to demand more of us, which is exactly what you want, right? Going into the top 16 teams of this particular tournament, we want to just be playing our best, and this is going to demand a higher level than what we had to do the first two rounds.
And then this isn't a NCAA Sweet 16, but this is 5 out of 6 out of 7 years where you've made it to the third round of whatever tournament you're playing.
Yeah.
And
I would say, I would say even the year that we didn't get to go, that was a top 10 team that would have hosted those first two rounds. And so I think that needs to be our standard, right? And I love this about the team. I was a little hot in our last time outs, and I just said, do you want me to lower the standard? And right away, they're like, no, and that's just who we are. We need to be. We need to expect ourselves to be playing in championships. And right now, the opportunity is in the WNIT. But hopefully that's a mindset, that's a competitive spirit, that's a demand of excellence that carries over to hopefully winning this right now, just this one game tournament, but hopefully continuing on, but also carrying over to the mindset of next year. Thank you guys.